What do you think of the governor's veto of this bill?
I think he's made a mistake. I think they'll live to regret it. You know, these are preventable crimes. Think about this. Who's he protecting? Who's he protecting in these sanctuary jurisdictions? These are people who came to the country or are in the country illegally and then went on to commit crimes against the citizens of that state. It's a big mistake.
Former acting ICE Director Ron Vitello saying North Carolina's Democrat Governor Roy Cooper will regret vetoing a bill this week that would have forced sheriffs to work more closely with ICE. Susana Martinez is the former Republican governor of the border state of New Mexico, and she joins us now. Governor, good to see you. So the North Carolina governor says he vetoed this bill because it would have weakened law enforcement in his state. What's your response to that?
I completely disagree with him. I was a prosecutor on the border for 25 years, and as a prosecutor on the border, I saw cooperation and partnership between local, state, and federal law enforcement agents every single day, and that was to protect the people that they serve within their community, to ensure that when illegal immigrants crossed over into the United States and committed crimes in the United States against American citizens or people that are in the United States legally, they worked together to ensure those individuals were in jail and that there was a detainer placed on them, so they weren't allowed to be released from jail and then roam the country without detection, and then ICE having to chase them down to then be held accountable for the crimes they're committing against the people in our state, New Mexico, or other parts of the country against American citizens.
I got to say that one of the purposes of the bill that the governor vetoed was to stop that from happening, because they saw recidivism. They saw people who had been released by ICE because of non-cooperation going out and committing more crimes. I mean, it happens. It has to be stopped some way. But let me ask about New Mexico, you're the state of which you were governor, because they had a sanctuary state law that they were trying to put through back in January. It ultimately failed to pass, or it was pulled. Why was it pulled? I mean, was it because originally in January they were saying, oh, there's not enough problem at the border? Or what happened in New Mexico with the sanctuary state law?
Well, New Mexico used to be a sanctuary state under my predecessor. He declared New Mexico a sanctuary state, and shortly after I became governor, a little over 8 years ago, I pulled it by executive order that we were no longer going to be a sanctuary state because it is unsafe. It actually puts the citizens of New Mexico into jeopardy because we release individuals who commit crimes and let them wander around in New Mexico or other states. And so I don't think it passed because hopefully they're listening, the legislators are listening to the people of this state and say, we have a right to the safety of the public in our businesses, in our schools, when we shop, that we should not be victims of crime by persons who are here in this country illegally.
You know, Democrats have had a problem with immigration the past couple of months. First, they were saying there was no problem on the border. That's literally what Beto O'Rourke said when he was down at the border. Then they had to admit, when the evidence came in from even places like the New York Times, that there were problems at the border, serious problems, a crisis. They had to switch gears. Then they're switching gears now on family separation. They said that this administration was doing something that never happened before. There was evidence it had happened before. Then we have a new rule change to stop family separation, to keep them incarcerated, the parents and the children together. I mean, it doesn't seem like they can get a straight line here on immigration, does it?
No, they can't get a straight line because they keep making it up as they go along. And this is what's happening. Everyone needs to understand that Congress holds the purse strings. They are the ones that are going to make sure to provide the funds that people who are being held in these facilities have proper care, have the proper tools, have toothbrushes, beds, room, space, food, etc. They're the ones that actually provide the funds. But they're holding back on making sure that those facilities are sufficient and large enough for the comfort while they're being held for their asylum claims. They hold it back and then turn around and blame the president. I mean, you can't do the double speak here. They're the ones that fund it, and then it's the president who turns around and will sign that legislation that comes from Congress. It's the Democrats that can't keep it straight because they want to have it both ways.
Well, it's going to be a campaign issue, no doubt, going into 2020. Governor Martinez, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.